we are going to go through how to use the school management system and very effectively. To start with, yes, these are the procedures. First of all, when you start, you have to set up the school. You have to make sure the details of the school has been set up already. Then the next is for you to make sure you set up some department. So you add a department, you view, of course, of viewing means when you view, you can also edit there. Then also the third step is to add class or class setup where you add a class and you view a class also. Then when we move forward, then when you are done with that, the fourth step is to make sure you add what you undergo through some finances, that's finance setup. And it, you look at fee type, you add some fee type, you view it. Then you do what we call modeling, you group the fees, you set up the actual fees with is the fee setup where you will actually add prices to or feed amount, monies to the fees. Then also you view the models you have created. Then you can also view payments that have also been done by parents. Then the final stage is for you to undergo through student management. Then you add students, you view students, then we move on. Okay, so we are going to go through the process one after the other. So currently we are going to do what we call school setup. So when you log in, that is the system. When you go and you log in, good, make it fast. Good. You log in, see congrats, it means you've been logging. You wait for some seconds and the system will log you in automatically. Let me make my screen size very take all the screens, the full screen. Good. Okay, so this is the dashboard, and you see the number of students you have enrolled over here, the number of fees that have been paid within that specific academic year over here or year will be there, the number of teachers that are in the school that you have registered, and then the number of other staff that you have also registered. Okay, so going through our procedures, we realize that when we come here, the first is that we are doing school setup. So under the many tags, you scroll down, then you'll find school setup and system setup. Under it, you see school setup. Yes, this is where you type the details of the school and what have you, blah, blah, blah. All these ones, you have to fill them, then you save as such. Okay. The next, refresh. Okay. Let's look at our bulletin. The next is to look at department. The department, you can find departments under administration. Under administration, you can see department. When you come here, yes, you can add departments, and there are some existing departments already in the system. You look at them, then you also, these are all demo. The demo account will never be used for your actual work. And so these are existing one. If you want to add, you only type the name of the department. Let's say I'm trying to add a department. Then you have description, you add them, then you save. So the moment you save sanitation and security department, I didn't add any description remarks, and you see remarks is empty. The person who saved the date and time the person did it for effective management. So that is how department are also being added and viewed. We've done all of them together. And then I mentioned that whenever you see these tables, this is the how tables and list of items and records are being viewed in the system. You always get this table, and you can sort them. See, I'm sorting it by name, right? You can also filter. Under the filter, you can do a very great search. Let me see, I'm doing upper, so you can just search. If you need to bring only this one out, you look at it, upper primary, you see how it is. Yes, you can also just filter by this. You can also filter by the person. You can also filter it by the date and time that the services was done, right? So that is it for department. Let's quickly go to class. Yes, under class, you have to go to, now we have moved from department, we are going to academics. Then you see that is a class. You add class, you view class, subject, and academic year. So quickly, let's go and view the classes that are there and also add. So these are the existing class. So we can see that we are having KG1, we are having nursery 1, KG1, nursery 2, DHS2. So if I'm adding a class, the most important in adding a class is the level. It's the level. When you add a class, you have to know the level. For instance, now I intend to add KG2 as a name of a class. Then what level should I give? The level is what will determine that if a student is being promoted from class 1, the person is going to class 2. It means that always class 1 level should be lower than that of class 2, or class 2 should immediately follow what class 1. That is the reason for it. You are creating the classes, so you have to determine how students will be promoted, right? Okay, so I'm adding KG2. Then immediately for me to select the level for KG2, I have to look at what? Where KG2 will fall. Yes, will fall. We have KG1, and KG1 level is what? Level 3. I could also see, because it's a demo, there's is also level 3. But let's move on. So if KG1 is level 3, then KG2 will be what? Level 4. Yes, I know your guess is as true as my own. So that is it. We are going to add. You just press on save. I mean, the moment you just save it and it reflects here, KG2, you have already saved. The level is level 4. That is done. Finished viewing and adding the class. Very simple. This system is one of the super simple application you can ever get. Now let's go to financial processes or finance setup. And there is, of course, there is a main menu called finances, and everything here you can find them here. The first thing you have to do when you come here is to do what? Set up fee type. So fee types, you click on it. Fee type. These are the types of fees we have created already. There's something we call PTA fees, bus fee, route 1 bus fee, feeding fee. Feeding fee can be canteen fee, books fee, etc. So now we having just feeding fee and the rest. Let me add another fee type. Let's say this term, let's say KG. I'm working on KG2, of course. KG2 materials. So under the description, I say this is to cover the cost of items for KG2 students. Here you are not adding any price. You are just creating them as like the way we created the department. So you are not adding any price to these bills, because the bills will be added later. So you just added the bills, the fee type. Sorry, as I mentioned, you don't add bills, but you add only the name or description of the fee type, so that later you work on it. So that is it. We have done fee type and we have also viewed it. Now let's go to the modeling. In fact, the most important, the modeling of the bills, that is where you add fees to. And under it, you see fee what? Fee setup. So that is where you are going to set the name, the model, and then the rest. Okay, so before we do that, look at what we need. We need the name, the due date, the description, of course, as I mentioned. Description, remarks, they are everywhere, so that it will help you. And this is where the fee items we did, you will see them. So when we go to receive, we also added KG2 materials, it is here, right? KG2 materials, it is here. So that is how it is. But before we be able to model, before I forget, and also you also sometimes forget, that it is important not to create duplicate of the same bill. So you have to go and view what is existing. Okay, you can see we have KG1 fees model, grade 4 model, DHS1 fee model. Then you go through. If the bill you have here, you want to create is already here, you only have to update it when necessary. But if it is not here, as you can see, I added a class called KG2. So I want to work on KG2. Then I come here. The next step is to add what? A bill for KG2. So KG2. Let's go to setup. Another setup. So here I'll say KG. In fact, this one, KG2, the way, if you type them mixed case, you see them mixed case. If you type them proper case, you see them. If you type them all uppercase, you see them. So I advise you stick to, if all caps, stick to all caps or proper case, so that reading becomes simple and easier to read. So KG2, second term, what? Fees. Then the due date, of course, the due date is today. You are creating them. So it should be billed. Then the most important is to add description. So that you also know exactly what this bill is about. But this name and then the description, they speak for themselves. So, but sometimes you have to add some deep or more remarks or important notice so that you don't forget anything about it. You add it there, as we did for creating the class. Now, here, let's go quickly. Under the fee type, you select. So we are doing what? Fees for KG2, so KG2 materials. So in all the KG2 books and then the materials, I added everything. Let's say we are going to give KG2 pencils, all the exercises, I have bought them, but you can separate them. So let me say all books will amount to, let me say 320 Ghana cedis. Let me say add 50% because there could be pencils. That is it for one. So KG2, we are modeling. This is just one item. I'm not done. This is only book. School fees has not come. So let me click and add. Okay, so I need the school fees itself. Have you seen teaching fee? So teaching fee is one item, but the teaching fee for KG2 might be different from that of teaching fee for what? Let's say JHS1, of course, and it could also be different from even nursery, right? So teaching fee for KG2 this year, how has administratively, where have you fixed it? Then you put it there. So KG2 fee, teaching fee, let me say that one is 690 cedis, 690 cedis. When you are done with that, you are done with this one. You have added one fee type, another fee type. KG2 people, of course, if KG2 people, almost all of them will need another item. You click on that item and you add. What is it? Yes, every KG2 student will what? Will also eat canteen. So you add it as a fixed price. But if you also believe canteen is also like a general, even if you are young, or let's say the lower primary have their own canteen and then the rest, you can separate them aside. But let me say canteen for the time, canteen, let me add canteen children, they have to enjoy. Yeah, let me add just 20 pesos then. So we have added 3 items. We have bundled 3. Okay, so now let's move on. As I mentioned, we have bundled 3 items. We have what? Books and other materials as materials. You have teaching fee and canteen, as I mentioned. So if you have how you have separated your canteen, let's say you have separated your canteens, let's say lower primary canteens, upper primary canteens, just whatever how it is, you set them. But this one, let me say all KG2 students, they will all go by this canteen. Then so now I have bundled 3 fees into one, and I've named it what? Second term KG2 second term fees. So it means if you want to build any child within second, you just select this group and everything within the group is being assigned. This is very effective than you doing them one after the other. Of course, under each one, under the tuition fee, you see under each one of them, we say remove item, tuition fee 690. If you have made a mistake, let me say I've just clicked, but I realize I don't need an additional one. You just click to remove that item you have added, right? That is it for these buttons. That is the work of these buttons, to remove the whole block from it. Okay, so we are done. Let's click on save. So here means we have saved our KG2 second term school fees. And this is the total. So the fees for all KG2 second term is 1,833.7 pesos, right? So that is it for teaching fee. So we have modeled the school fees. Now let's go and see how to assign, in fact, how to do the fees itself, assigning the fees to a class. There are 2 ways to assign fees to a class. Now, in the beginning, we are going to stick to the registration, assigning the fees at the registration section. But afterwards, if your child has already been saved into the system and it is a new term or a new year, you want to add fees, for that one, you come here and you say fee billing. When you come here under the class, you select the class. KG2 is my class of interest. Have you seen what has come here? Good. So it will be the list of all KG2 students. But here, because I have taken on what assigned to all, so every student in KG2, I'm assigning the fees to. That is the class. And these are the fee groups or models. If you remember, we set up KG2 second term school fees. You come and select it. So it means every child, every student in KG2, when you click on assign fees here like this, bam, these fees will be hot, assigned to bill to every single student as at now. What we will add is when you click on here to remove the assigned to all, what we will bring here is that there will be a checklist. So maybe you want to remove one child from it in a session, but that one has not been given. I spoke to Madam, and she said, no, we should not be that way. So when you click currently, the fees will be assigned to everybody. So when there is changes, we will effect that changes. So that is the first way to add subsequent fees, right? So the other way we will learn it, or we look at it when we are adding a new student. So if you have any question, of course, you know my contacts are always available. You contact me, and if there is any explanation, we will give that explanation aside. So our next is to go to our student set configuration, how to add students, how to view students, and that of parents, and so many things about students, right? So together, let's move on. So let's wrap up. We have, of course, look at setup, and the setup, that is where we find what school setup. And I did not mention financial setup. There is another. All these ones, they are self-explanatory. One thing I want to highlight on, they are self-explanatory. Let's look at, it's under development. In fact, this is where you do the changes for whether you want fees to be assigned to all. Okay, so I was saying under the finance setup, that's where you set up, determine how bills have been done, who can do billing, and then the rest. So as I mentioned, whenever you see under development, it means we have not agreed on. So here also under development, basically who is to use the system, we are yet to confirm from our madam. System audit, this is very important. And here, most of the things you do, because the system is fully online and it is possible you may be working on something, a process that will take a long time, like billing and then the rest that, and sending SMS, and maybe let's say somebody's making payment. This process have so many steps within it. So there is a tendency that as somebody is accessing such a service or using such a service, the person's network will go down. So to to solve that challenge, or to in order to prevent those things from happening, most of the activities, the moment you click on the button from your device, is being taken from your device, and the processes are being okay. Sorry, most of those services are being done on our service. So it moves from your machine directly on online, and it completes the process before feedback is being sent. But let's say because feedback was unable to send to you because maybe because of poor network, it will leave that under the system audit report. So you go, or basically, even when the process is being done, for that one, sure, it will give you feedback whenever you are online. But let's say when that process is unable to goes on, whatever the process rate, it will leave it under the system audit report. You can go there and you will push or push for it to happen, right? Okay. So moving forward, we have done all this already. So, and we have also done view payments and then the rest. Now let's go to adding students. One of the most important aspects. As beginning, you'll be doing this a lot. So adding student is basically also simple. But before we add student, there are two ways. You can add student directly from here. Let me click add student. See the student form, nicely done. But I always continue to say, in fact, this is not actually even the design we want to use. This is just a prototype. Let me mention this. All that we are seeing is just a prototype for you to be able to know the requirement, the actual things we need. When we gather all of them, we will release the actual application. But even notwithstanding, look at how these ones are being done. Very nicely done. Okay, so we are moving forward. This is how you add students. All these details, you can add them to the students. So we'll go through. But also, let's look at the other way to add students. Let's say you are still at the administration, the menu. You can also decide to view existing students. These are existing students. Then you can set for them here. Currently, this bar is not active because, as I mentioned, always those filters are there, right? If you need to set somebody by the person's surname, you can come here. What is the surname? I saw some Sapon. You see? So only Sapon, you click, only Sapon will appear. That's why we have not activated this one, but we will activate it. But basically, those ones will be searching some specific items, not everything that those ones will be able to search on, right? Okay, so whenever you want to clear them, just say clear filters and you are gone, just like that. So all the student details are here. All of them are here. In editing, I think I mentioned how we will do the editing. Oh, I've gone back too much, so it's just refreshing, just some few seconds, and we go. To edit a student, we've gone through the process. Now you have so many ways, two ways to also do that. You can decide to right click, and then you select view details to edit, or you long press on it and then the view details will come and you edit, right? But let's first of all, these are the things that happens here, and these are the process that you will see. Some of the functionalities, since we are still coding, you are not seeing. Else, as I mentioned, you'd have just right. It would have give you the pop-up for you to select and then the rest. Or also, as I mentioned, when you long press on any details, any of the records you see, and then we have even given some different lines so that you don't mistake of selecting one student instead of the other to view, right? So, or in the web version, because we are viewing it online, the demo version, we are having challenge in some of our features to function. But in the desktop, if this one happens to be an installed app on the desktop, you just double click like this, and a text box like this will appear just here. And the name, the right name, you type them. When you are done, you click on enter, a pop up with the new name will come, or the new detail. It could be the name, all the details that you entered yourself and that you key them, they will come. But don't forget this one, you selected it. So this one you cannot edit it here, but you can edit it when you view the full records, similar to the sex and then the class. All the drop downs, you can't double click and change them here. But the things you key them yourself, like the towns, street names, and all these ones, you can, even this empty phone number, you can just double click and change them. This one, so you can double click and change it. Religion, you selected it, so you can't, and then the national ID of the student too, you cannot. So in fact, I needed this one to come so that to show you, because it's a browser and not the full app. Whenever you go up out too much, it will just close your page, right? So always you have to make sure you are within, you know how you are going back, because I just scroll back too much. Okay, so we were under the students and we were viewing, and as I mentioned, you can add student here as we went there, and also this is the second way you can add student here. Now, when you come here, you see these are the details. So you just enter the students' details one after the other, and now we have activated the school, the student what camera. You click on it. If the camera is attached to your computer, you can just click here, or basically you can also just click on the file. Let me say this is our student. You select the picture, and the student's picture will appear very nicely. You add the name, and the details, whatever you key in, you will see them. So this procedure is also very simple. Let's basically go and view the student. Once again, you view students, and you can see these are the students. These records are being viewed according to the recent one. So this is the most recent one we've entered. You see the name is today, of course, 26. The time was 8 a.m. So let's try and add another student. Guessing any name. Let me say the name is Asante. No. Okay, Asante. Then let me say George. Then Asante George is, of course, a male. But you make mistake, you can change them, but you don't also have to make mistakes. Then date of birth, you will select, right? The religion, yes, have been updated to Christians and Muslims, and then others. We say this one is a Christian. The student's national ID, you saw it. This one, let me type it. All national ID start with GH. So GH. These were the fields I was saying that because you entered them yourself, when changing it, you only have to double click on the list. So the town is say Akwetia. Yeah, just roughly. So Akwetia is the Diamond Town. So let me say the Diamond Street. Well, I don't know whether Akwetia Township or Diamond Street. The house number, type them. 46 DPS, student email, and then the rest. I'm leaving the rest. But here is also very compulsory. Now, when you come here, what is the class that the student is currently admitted at, or the student is at that you are saving, right? Good. So let me say that this student is at nursery one. Then you add fees. Very important. If there is any fee you want to attach to this student, you should not forget it. Add it here. Don't forget we created KG2 school fees, so I just want to use that school fees. Very important. Old school, the old school of this student, you can add it. Let's say the student, as we added the old school details, this is the old school details, you add it as such. If there's more, you add. If not, you can delete it. So the parent details, the most important is the phone number. You pay attention to the phone number and the email. They should be unique, else it will give you an error. Very soon when we are done, I think by next week, what I will add, let me say it now so that when you see it does not become new. When you come to the parent, there will be a checkbox. As you've seen checkbox for you to click on existing. When you just click on existing, what you see is just a field for you to add either the phone number, Ghana card number, or the email to search. It means this parent is already existing, and then you just click on it, and that is all. You will not enter the details again, right? That is what will happen. So when you see that, you should be familiar with it. So then the email, okay, good. So this detail is there. Then also guardian address. Let's say the guardian is now in Accra. So the street, which part of Accra? Let's say Abeka. I don't know Abeka that much, but I know. Okay, let me say Abeka is a street. So let me make it clear. High Street. Yeah. Let me say two. High Street. So I'm doing this to show you that you have to add as details as much so that you know and see them. Contact type now is selectable. You click whether the parent prefer you to do phone call, SMS, email. This is how the system will also be using to automatically contact parents. So you should always ask. All of them will want you to call them all the time. They will prefer SMS or WhatsApp or whatever. If it's other, you select and you type the other. But let's say phone call. Majority of them, of course, will be phone call. What is the relationship of this parent you are adding to the child? This is the father, and the national ID of the father. You can add it if you have it. Okay. Then also here, as part of the things you are adding, like the school fees and then the old school, the student health history will come. Where basically we have not also concluded either we will make you add only the folder, the CWC card number or tick that you have it, or we have not concluded, but it will also be there for you to add. But as part of it, as part of that form, you have what we call allergies. Allergies will be there, blood group type will be there, and some whether the child is asthmatic, those ones will be there for you to tick, so that as a school you know the kind of students you'll be dealing with, their health and then the rest, and how to handle them. If you are done with all these details, always go through again. Go through there again. If the parent is there, you ask of the names and the details again. Do not be saying because oh, it's editable, you go and edit. Sometimes you save the things you finish and you realize editing is not even as easy as you thought. So you always make sure you are entering and capturing it. And because this system is online, every record you change or add, the cost is being added to it, right? So we will be tracking all these ones. So we want you to go through as much as possible. Currently, you should make sure you are saving only true data or accurate data. When you start, this is the demo. You can use it to practice as much as you want. So as you are done, you click on save. But take attention. That is the parent or phone number. I would like to view and show you how that phone number, yes, how I'm going to log in into one of my systems to show how that phone number The moment you finish the saving, how the message will come. Okay, so let me. Okay, so quickly, let's go. You press on save student. Um, there is an exception, data processing exception. You saw it. Okay, basically, you will go through it. Yes, because we added this free field without putting in it. I have filled those empty spaces. You don't need to leave them. If you don't use them, don't add. This one is dynamic. If you don't need it, don't add. Just delete it, right? Like a parent, if you add and you don't use, just delete it. Else it will give you problems. Okay, so that is it. And when you are done, you save the student, and the student is saved. So going through again, we have the dashboard, we have the student, you can view students, we have teachers, you can add teachers, right? To add a teacher, it's very simple. You come under the teacher, you click on add teacher, and you add all these ones. We will complete them very soon. This ones have been completed. It should have come. Maybe, yeah, so list of student teachers. Okay, we have not added any. So that is it. Academic year, the academics, we have looked at all of it. Finances, how to do financial setup, doing billing, school fees, billing, and then the rest. We have looked at it. Administration, and administration, you have looked at adding staff. We have looked at viewing them, department, adding department, and viewing them. Under the reports, most of all the reports will come here. Under the report, the attendance report, whatever report. But don't forget that when it comes to terminal reports, it will not be under reports. That one is an academic. So it will go under the academics, terminal reports, anything that has to do with academics will be under academics. This is just general report to give you how students attend general things that you see here, right? Financial reports, as you mentioned, if we agree to add your expenditures and the incomes, then you will be able to get the financial report, that is the statement of financial position for the school, or the accounting reports. About 3 of them, you will create them. But because it's not part from the beginning, I'm yet to think, we are still going through whether we will do it. But we know, as I said, we might add it, so we will, or we might add it, as I said. Another settings, if you look at it under help, you see help center, frequently asked questions. We will put so many information down there, and when you click on it online, it will come for you to view it. Learn more, we will add our tutorials, this video, even of course this very videos. We will polish it when the full software comes, and we put it there. About is to read more, how to do the app rating, how if you are using desktop, or if you're using Windows, you go to Windows Store and you rate as terms of use, it will be versions and app versions, and then the versions, and then the versions, and then the rest. And it is under here, even this learn more, it should have been the update, right? We put the app update there. And of course, all right, reserve. This is, of course, Daatechnology coming to you once again. As I said, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask. You ask all questions, we will answer you as such, and make sure that you are up to date with it. Thank you very much. This is where we will end this section. And I should also say it once again, what you are seeing is just a demo, right? It's just a demo. And the demo system, we will change, so many of the things will change, but the things that will change is just the skin, just the look and feel, it's just the design. But the processes and the procedures, we have mentioned all of them, right? Good. So we will be in standby. Okay, before I forget, if you want to log out, if you are using a small device like this one, your system will be like this. And if you are, then you go to the right corner, you click on the view profile, and you see view profile and log out. If you are using a desktop, then always the left navbar will be there without the top navbar. You click on the view profile, you will see view profile. This will be your profile, your name, and so many things will be there. And you will use it whenever you want to log out. You can also log out as such, and you will be free to go. Okay, so let's come back. I have explained these ones to you already. This is just the current fee paying. This year, all the fees that we're paying. This chart, we might split it into two. We might show more or not. And as I mentioned, there are also another pie chart here.